Hello everyone, welcome to EPG Parsala program. Myself Dr. Shubhabrata Datta, Professor and Head, Department of Social Work, Assam Central University, Silchar. In this module, we will discuss the partnership for rural development work under the course Rural Development. There is a belief that working together is more effective than working in isolation. Partnership is an effective way of working together, operate under different local conditions depending on the detailed nature of the problems, the institutional environment, political factors, experiences and culture. In the era of globalization, partnership is a much talked issue over the world. Individually, if I do some work, and if someone comes and join hand with me and jointly we do the work, there are certain options are there. Share the knowledges, share the experiences, share the ideas, share the time, and it has become advantageous for a better operation. And today in the globalized era, isolation work is not possible because similar kind of things may be done by another one. So why not to share? Why not to join hand? And why not to deliver togetherness? That is the issue main behind the philosophy of the partnership. The concept of partnership is now widely used in many spheres, from development to business, to academic circles and even within families. Responsible actors put partnership into action to capitalize their strengths and take advantage and opportunities of inherent in synergizing the relationships. If someone is writing a book with certain concepts, if I individually write the book, in a year I can write one. If two of us join hand, in a year I can write the two books. And what happened? Individual knowledge and another person's knowledge can be shared and better operation is possible. The partnership is much more than fashionable new buzzword. It literally calls for a complete shift in the way of we view and above all create human relationships. Actually, in our psychological concept, individual performance judged and individual recognition more important. But partnership is more value oriented. Actually, it provides new ideas in a two different ways if we partnering. So the people receiver have an options of better opportunities to get into. Partnerships are widely acclaimed as being of central importance of development practice in the 21st century. The concept have become as generally accepted as being fundamental for success of poverty elimination, that is, the presence in increasing numbers of official publications now passes almost without notice. Actually, in the development sector, it has been asked that joining hand is essential for the specifically poverty alleviation program. In the different modules I already talked that it is a problems is huge, resources less. So automatically, if we share knowledge, ideas, resources, better service delivery is possible. Like the concept of sustainability, it is used to refer to a wide range of different kind of relationship, often with insufficient rigorous assessment being applied either to its meanings or to its subsistence. That means, if we don't share, sometimes I cannot judge whether the right things are being expressed or it requires to be modification. So that it will be possible if we share the ideas and jointly or partnering the work to be delivered. Partnerships need to develop a long-term strategy if they are to work effectively and to have lasting effect. Suddenly joining hand and delivered a sudden process is not. It is not a one-time issue. Let us come and do this work and left. It required a long-term strategy. Why we both of us will come together? What should be the objective? What should be the common agenda that we follow? What should be the rules and regulation that we will be abide by? These are important for the long and lasting effect. Okay. For era-based partnership, this strategy must include a vision for the region focusing on the outcome to be achieved, an action plan identifying short-term priorities, and a coordinated working program including activities and measures that will contribute to the achievement of the long-term outcomes. For example, the 2 lakhs people to provide training, skill development training in a 40,000 villages for their entrepreneurial activities. And for this, 3 organizations, maybe 1 NGOs, maybe SIRT, and maybe Panchayat comes together. They 3 has to frame certain rules, regulations, ideas, and certain autonomy among the each, how the things to be performed. There should be definitely certain autonomy. SIRT will have given autonomy, how the training to be provided. Issues of the training will be commonly discussed. But how it will be provided, that autonomy to be given to NIRT. There, if Panchayat or the organization who are other working, if they interfere, it will be difficult because SIRT or NIRT have a expertise in offering the training. Subject of the issues to be commonly discussed. NGOs who are specifically working for the awareness generation and others, they know the parameter of the work to be done. If Panchayat asks, you do this are the ways, or that should be the methodology through which it will be implemented, that will be difficult. So autonomy to be given. What are the issues, who are the people, where the places to be offered the training, the awareness program to be conducted, that to be commonly discussed. So that is why there are certain issues that is jointly decided, there are certain issues autonomy to be given. That is should be the area where a partnership should be framed. As partnerships set themselves common targets, they become answerable with regard to reaching these targets. Common targets is that this 20 lakhs youth will be get entrepreneurial activities. Before that, they will be identified, they will get training, and they will be get financial support too. So that common part to be here. And if someone fail, then definitely when the bank is going to offer the finance support, will know whether the properly training has been given or not. If not, then another one, the agency who offered the training are answerable. So naturally, they should be answerable to each other. They therefore have to agree on the monitoring and evaluation as the key principles. Definitely, as the work will go on, time to time, regular monitoring to be conducted. It is important to do this from the very beginning so that the question regarding the outcome of the partnership and the funds involved can be answered and value added of the partnership work be made visible. Time to time, why monitoring is required? So that at the end, if things failure, then it is very difficult and each of us will be blaming to others as a partner. So better when the partnership work is going on, monitoring to be going on, so that if somewhere some fault is taking place, some communication gap is taking place, that to be identified and that to be corrected to go carry on the part. Now, if we go for the defining the partnership, how it is there, but what is the definition it's coming out. A partnership is cross-sector collaboration in which organizations work together in a transparent, equitable, and mutually beneficial way towards a sustainable goal, and where those defined as partners agree to commit resources and share the risk as well as the benefits associated with the partnership. That means both the resources to be shared and as well as risk to be shared too. If we are going for a tribal development program, what are the resources? If we know the training and other materials we have, that will be provided. Fine, that resources I am having. You have resources of the manpower that is to be offered. But the question is that as the tribal have never had any kind of exposure to use if we do the watershed program, whether the watershed program will be successful there or not. So the question is, the risk factor is there. If certain problems are there, risk to be shared too. Partnership can also be defined as a formal agreement between two or more parties that have agreed to work together to pursue the common goals. Whether an NGO or a DRDA, both are coming together, or a DRDA or a Jila Parishad, though government are coming together, or two NGOs are coming together. In that case, they should have the common goals. That is the target, and we should go. This is the system through which we will achieve the goals. Partnership is an institutional arrangement that sets into a philosophy. Definitely, there should not be a verbal agreement. There should be institutional agreement. That's why I am taking what should be the strategy, what should be the targets, what should be the modules of that. It is a way of enhancing performance in delivery of a common goal by the taking of joint responsibility and pooling of resources by different agents, whether these are public or private, collective or individual. For example, if certain resources to be pooled for the work, it has to be identified and it is jointly, whether government or whether the non-government. The added value from such a collaborative approach usually stems from an enhanced ability to tackle problems whose solutions span the division of labor and or center on a particular locality. There is some philosophical idea behind it. According to Marvin Sender in 2001, partnership is a relationship, either formally or informally engaged between two or more people in a cooperative effort to reach a common goal or mutual benefit. Even if we just share, two students are preparing a notes, both of them can divide their labor, divide the issues, work together, and then work differently and come together and set it. The notes is prepared. But there is a verbal agreement where both of them will work and where they will come together. So the legal term, company stated that a partnership exists where there is a voluntary association of two or more persons for the purpose of doing business in a partnership for profit. When there should be voluntary, there should not be pressure to anyone. This is the issues. For example, one company is asking that we are looking for some partnering work into that issues. Who are going to be the partner? It is a voluntary invitation. There is no pressure for that. Partnerships are assumed to exist where partners actually share profits and losses proportionately. If I profit, we'll share. If we lose, we'll share. Even though there may not be a written partnership agreement signed between the partners. That means the philosophical idea is still working behind. That means we are ready to bear the risks. We are ready to bear the profits. We are ready to bear the achievements. So partnership in a nutshell, how it comes around as a definition. It can be said is a voluntary association of two or more individuals or organizations for the purpose of supporting each other for the benefit of both parties. Where both of us will be benefited, both of us will provide support to each other. This association may have a formal or informal agreement with a joint commitment on a long or short-term interaction and has jointly agreed purposes and values. So the 3-4 areas are there. One is it may be written, it may not be written. It may be formal, it may be informal. It may be for the long term, it may be for the short term. So this is the issues homes around. Now, what should be the characteristics of the good partnership? A successful partnership enhances the impact and effectiveness of action through combined and more efficient use of resources, promotes innovation, and is distinguished by a strong commitment from each partner. To achieve sustained success, it is essential that the basic local parameters to be created and agreed upon. Equally essential are political will, resourcing, and the appropriation of fund. So these are to achieve sustained success, it is essential that local parameters to be created and should be shared. One example it has been given. For example, in certain housing complexes to be prepared in rural areas. One organization who have technical knowledge have been asked to build the houses or the infrastructure. One NGO has been asked to aware the people. Panchayat has been asked to supervise the work. So three partnering with a certain agreement. Partnership should be able to bring together different actors in collaborative action as well as collaborative efforts to effect the changes. To be efficient, a partnership should have recognizable and autonomous structure to help establish its identity. The structure should have stability and performance as well as flexibility. It is helpful if it has a certain degree of autonomy, freedom from political influence. For example, if some organization have been asked to partnering, there should be certain flexibility. Within the system, flexibility to be given and certain degree of autonomy. Specifically, if the political influence has been given, then it is difficult to exercise the autonomy over there. For example, if certain person have certain political influence, has been asked to conduct the work on behalf of an organization, very difficult that the autonomy will sustain. Now we are coming geo and NGO partnership. Partnership may be geo partnership, government and government, maybe NGO and NGO, but we are talking here about geo and NGO partnership. Geo-NGO partnership can be described as a relationship rooted in the acceptance of both parties of their shared vision and responsibility for the delivery of social services within policy and legislative frameworks governing a country's response to its social needs and problems. Geo-NGO partnership has become a global phenomenon in the current development. I am explaining. A partnership can be described as a relationship rooted in the acceptance of both parties in the shared vision. Government is interested to implement the 100 days program. Fine. And for the effective delivery, it is inviting different NGOs to partnering with him so that the implementation can be smooth. Because NGOs have a grassroots experience and strong grassroots network that to be utilized by the government system, and government is ready to funding and other materials to offer. So this is the agreement. So it has become a global phenomenon. Why it is a global phenomenon? Because the government cannot alone reach out to the all section of the population, whereas NGOs are working with the grassroots. So that needed to be coordinated, that needed to be shared, then effective participation possibilities are in there. Both geo and NGO possess the same goal. Both have their same targets as well as the goal. That is poverty eradication through community participation. Mobilizing the poor into a variety of community-based organizations. Actually, in the development work, participation is very, very essential. If the people are not participating to their work, then it is an imposition. And we all know who likes imposition. We all interested for our own freedom and to go as per our choice. So if the villager's choice we cannot frame, if the villager's choice we cannot channelize to implement, then very difficult the development program to sustain. Otherwise it will be impositions. Geo-NGO partnership is more prominently projected when the government resources are inadequate to meet the needs of the society. Widespread gender discrimination at household and societal level and workplaces, the social upsurge amongst the Dalit, Adivasis and other disadvantaged groups, coupled with the inability of the government ministry or departments to reach out to the unreached to meet those needs, seeking to have a collective action by both NGOs and the government. Specifically, many areas government failed to reach, whereas NGOs are existing over there. So why not the NGOs should be asked to join hand with the government and to carry out their work in a major way. Now, what are the different types of partnership exist between the geo and NGOs? One kind is consultative partnership. This exists among institutions who wish to establish new relation with their organization for information exchange. Regular venues such as consultations or dialogues are organized to serve as an initial mechanism through which various institutions know each other by sharing experience, ideas and opinions. Sometimes government meets in consultative meetings. ask different NGOs to participate and share their ideas to develop certain schemes and programs. Coordinated partnership. Here, efforts are exerted to avoid duplication of activities and synchronize separate institutional initiatives for greater efficiency and effectiveness in the field operations. As starting point for coordination, integration committees and activities are usually organized to do the checklist or inventory of project interventions in the communities. As an example, the relief efforts undertaken by the government and NGOs where an interagency group is organized to avoid duplication in the distribution of goods and earthquake to the earthquake victims or flood victims. Specifically, when there is any kind of disaster, different NGOs, governments and other individual initiatives comes to offer services. That is required proper coordination. Then duplication can be avoided and we can reach to the every individual suffering into the disasters. That is a coordinated partnership. Complementary partnership. In this form or level of relationship, though each party has separate initiatives, they are both guided by common program framework characterized by purpose efforts to support each other. How it is, for example, in the comprehensive agrarian reform program, the government where some NGOs have taken initiatives to undertake land transfer programs within the CARP framework and the mechanism. Actually, certain agrarian reform, land to be redistributed. And when the land to be redistributed, there are certain group of farmers who are in demand for the land. Government is just framing. So this group who are channelized by the NGOs, if they are coming and providing this is the list and this is the people who are in requirement, it would be helpful for the government. That means government work will reduce. So this is a complementary partnership. Collaborative partnership. In this relationship, both institutions agreed to work together. Both has to deliver service together, sharing a common vision, establishing a common objectives and plans of action on a program level. Mechanisms are institutionalized so as to facilitate delivery of services to the target communities. Already given different examples, that is National Rural Health Missions. Actually, one target is every birth to be institutionalized. That means the child birth will be take place at the hospital settings. Who will work? ASHA is the work and other midwives are there under the different names under the NRHM. In the direction, different NGOs have been asked to provide training to the ASHAs, asked to coordinate the ASHA's work so that they became the more active to bring the pregnant mother to the institution and birth can take place. This is basically the collaborative partnership. Both are working together. Certain principles. What should be the principles to be followed in the GNGO partnership? One is equality. Means it requires mutual respect between the members of partnership irrespective of size and power. Government is more powerful. You have asked 5 NGOs to work. They may not be that powerful in the size, but should be the mutual respect. The transparency. Transparency is achieved through dialogue with an emphasis on early consultation and early sharing of information. Communication and transparency include financial transparency, increase the level of trust among the organizations. That means whatever the decisions to be taken, that should be very clear and maybe on the predetermined system so that everyone will be knowing that where what to do, and it should be transparent, means less confusion are created. Result oriented approach. Effective humanitarian action must be reality based and action oriented. This requires result oriented coordination based on effective capabilities and concrete operational capacities. That means how much the capacity of an organization have will be provided work and will be share work proportionately. Otherwise, result will vary. If I can take the 10, if you ask to 20, then result will be ineffective. For effective result, maybe the 10 target is enough for that partnership. Responsibility. Humanitarian organizations have an ethical obligation to each other to complete their task responsibly with integrity and in a relevant and appropriate way. They must make sure that they are committed to activities only when they have the means, competences, skills, and capacity to deliver on their commitments. Decisive and robust prevention of abuse committed by the humanitarians must also be consistent effort. That means we know where to share, and accordingly we share our responsibility. Complementary. The diversity of humanitarian community is an asset if we build our comparative advantages and complement each other's contribution. Diversity is an asset, and that to be actualized. Not diversity is a complex or challenge. Diversity is an asset. It has to look to that direction. Local capacity is one of the main assets to enhance and on which to build. Whenever the program will be conducted, local capacity in build, so that automatically participation to be ensured and work will go on and sustain. Whenever possible, humanitarian organizations should strive to make it an integral part in emergency responses. Language and cultural barriers must be overcome. That should not be the issue for anywhere. Now, what are the limitations of the different government administration? When we are talking about the GO and NGO partnership government as well as the NGOs, so there should be certain limitation. The development experience in India has repeatedly shown the limitations of central government efforts to promote effective rural development at local level. This trend becoming clear with the worldwide fiscal crisis. The need for increased human resource development within the economic livelihood, health, nutritional status and overall well-being of the rural poor, and also to implement the development programs made the poor successfully. There was an urgent need of the hour to have an alternative institution, and it was non-government organizations. That means government has its limitations, either the fiscal, either the manpower or the others, because the gigantic work rural development is not possible to cover by the government alone. Number of NGOs already in the field, so they should be streamlined, channelized, trained enough, improved enough, and to make them a partner with the institutions. The rise of NGOs as a strong institutional alternative reflects the growing recognition that the central government and the private sector lack sufficient capacity to respond. In the era of globalization, successful implementation of the development program requires an appropriate policy framework, formulation of sustainable plan schemes, and effective delivery machinery. In the broad arena of the development process, the work and skill of non-profit organization or the non-government organization have received attention during the last 2 decades. It is happening. In the different studies I've seen, NGOs get recognitions. Advantages of partnership. In partnership, both parties can actively participate in decision-making process. The partnership activities and process involves interactions and relationship, building the GO-NGO. It includes investment of both sides in terms of time and resources. Successful GO-NGO partnership enables both parties to do what they do the best to achieve common goal. Partnership can bring innovations in different areas like political, security, social, cultural and human affairs. So that is the advantage already exists if we go for the partnership. But partnership have also disadvantages. What are the disadvantages in there? While there are benefits of partnership, there are also challenges. When GO and NGO come together, they are often a clash of culture, philosophy and nobody's satisfaction. Because NGO have a different philosophy, commitment and mindset of. The GO have a different mindset of. In GO-NGO partnership, there is no dearth of resources of funds, but if funds are not released timely, NGOs may have to confront with many problems. NGO is a front line, they are working. If suddenly funds are not coming, it should be stopped because they are answerable to the people, because they are directly handling the cooperation and the bureaucratic nature. Partnership often brings limitation to the partnership work. Sometimes due to the bureaucratic system, government takes time to get the fund to released, and in that time it comes. So this is all. Thank you very much.